كتاب الله دستوري كتاب الله دستوري وخير الخلق أسوتنا
بسنته انجلى نوري لهدي
spiritual, and then he who worships God must worship it in spirit and truth. So what I mean is that so when Muhammad came, he kind of like just forgot the spirit stuff, what we were supposed to be following, and went back to the man law.
So what's...
Listen,
Yeah.
I'll talk to him, yeah? Come on.
I'll come back to you.
That's right, I just have questions. So basically, is the Quran based on the Old Testament, New Testament, and this is like the part 3?
It's not based on them, but you'll find there's some
So can you give me a
similar...
background to it?
Yeah, there's similar stories in them. Similar,
Yeah, like I'm reading like
yeah,
Moses
and all that. But if you look, they are all the Abrahamic religions have similar prophets because the source is similar, one God,
Yeah.
right? But you find in the Quran that the stories are different. I'll give you an example. In the Bible, you have the story of Judah, from whom Judaism comes. He sleeps with his daughter-in-law, and she has twins, Farah and Zara, and they're in the genealogy of Jesus. Quran comes and cleans them all, makes them all innocent. All the messengers of God, all the prophets of God, they're all righteous people. God does not pick anybody with characters that are questionable.
But does it agree with like the stories in the like?
This is what I'm saying to you. So first of all, it makes them innocent of any charge of the Bible. So,
But like, as in what's it, chronologic? Like it all makes like the stories
chronologically,
exist.
it's same, yeah.
So the stories of this, like it believes like in the, like classic stories. I don't know.
What's
Moses
your
splitting
background?
the
Are you
sea.
Christian?
No, I don't have a background. I'm just,
Okay.
I don't know.
Because-
In school I learned like all different
Yeah, yeah.
religions and stuff, but I mean I
Yeah.
basically know nothing. But
When the Prophet came in, when the Prophet Muhammad came, he confirmed all the messengers. So as part of our belief, we have 5 pillars of Islam,
Yeah, I
and we
know
also
that.
have 6 pillars of... One of the parts of the 6 pillars of Iman is to believe in all the messengers God sent, right? So for example, I cannot be a Muslim if I don't believe in Jesus, Moses,
when you believe in
Abraham.
that, does that mean you believe also with the stories and everything they did, or it just means you believe they?
Right.
Like, what does it mean you believed in them?
I believe that they came as the messengers and prophets.
They brought the same message.
I believe that they were here, sent by the one God.
So, for example, like Moses, like what message did he bring?
So Moses, for example, he was sent to the Jews only. So all these messengers, they came for a particular period of time to a particular people. For example, if you look in the Bible,
So, but like, as in, do you agree? Like, do the stories exist? Like in the, I don't know, the Bible, like, I don't know, like the classic story, the Moses splits the sea and all of that kind of stuff.
Yes.
That was all.
yes, it's also in the Quran, yeah.
Like with all Pharaoh and all of that.
Pharaoh's there as well.
And then.
But there's difference, as I said to you. For example, at the time of Yusuf alayhi salam. So the Pharaoh of Egypt,
Yeah.
the Bible calls him Pharaoh. The Quran calls him king, because Pharaoh didn't exist at the time. Historically, it's more accurate.
Pharaoh didn't exist at the time.
They were called kings. If you look at the Egyptian history, at the time of Joseph, they were called kings, not Pharaoh. Pharaoh came later. The dynasty of pharaohs came later. You can look it up, right?
Okay, fine. Well, like I said, I don't really know.
That's not the same as other.
It's the same story, but the Quran refers to the ruler as king, Malik.
But like all the as in, so it agrees with all the stories you're saying.
So,
Okay, fine. They
yeah,
use different words.
there
but
are
like,
no, there are differences, as I said to you. For example, we don't have any unrighteous prophets.
I just turned to
Yeah.
I don't know. So for
If
example,
you look in the Bible, Lot,
like,
you know
just
Lot.
because I looked at Pharaoh and I was like,
Yeah,
okay, so it must
that's
have
fine.
something to do with Pharaoh and all of that. But then again, who's Haman?
Haman.
Haman.
Haman's story is quite... Haman was the chief builder of Pharaoh, right?
Pharaoh.
Pharaoh had a chief builder.
Sounds
Haman.
familiar. No, it sounds familiar.
So if you listen.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
So Haman was the chief builder. When Moses came with Aaron to guide Pharaoh to one God, because Pharaoh used to claim he was the supreme God, and people had to worship him at the pain of death, right? So Moses was sent to guide him back to the one God. So Pharaoh, what he said,
You have to go. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm listening.
that's right. So what Pharaoh said to Haman, build me a long building so I can get up and speak to the God of Moses. And now the Quran challenged...
So Haman's at the same time as Moses?
Yes. So, yeah,
I think it's like a Jewish story, or is it Christian or Jewish?
it's Christian in the book of Esther, in the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's like, it's at least like 1,000 years apart, no?
in the book of Esther, it mentions Haman.
But chronologically, like I think if you look it up, it's 1,000 years difference.
If you look at the Rosetta Stone, when the hieroglyphics were finally deciphered, and they look at the role of employees for Pharaoh, Haman was there.
What's it
How
called?
how would
No,
look at the Rosetta Stone hieroglyphics?
Rosetta Stone, it
Yeah.
talks about Haman.
No, from Rosetta Stone, follow what I'm saying. From Rosetta Stone, they deciphered the hieroglyphics, and when they looked at the people working for Pharaoh, Haman was a builder, chief builder.
So what do we think about the story of Esther, as you say?
Right?
Is it at the same time too?
No, Book of Esther.
Or it doesn't exist?
Book of Esther says Haman was in Mesopotamia, which is Iraq.
Is that right?
No, you're asking too many questions. Let me finish. So, Mesopotamia. So the critic of the Quran is saying, why would Haman be in Egypt when he was in Iraq, Mesopotamia? Now we have the hieroglyphics confirming there was a chief builder called Haman. How did the Prophet know? Now I'm asking you now.
Sorry, I didn't hear the question. Just
Right.
quickly ask me.
We only found out that Haman was a builder, chief builder for Pharaoh, after the hieroglyphics in the 19th century were deciphered.
Okay, but I mean, for thousands of years, they had the Bible, and they're saying that Haman did Esther.
No. You know, listen, we're trying to find another
No,
question.
I understand. You're saying according
Listen,
to the hieroglyphics. in the 19th
Haman, where was he according to the Bible? Where was he? That's Iraq.
In Iraq, yeah.
Are we
Persia.
talking about Pharaoh who's in Egypt? Right.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
I'm coming to it. So the Pharaoh is in Egypt, and Haman, the Quran is saying, is working for Pharaoh. Book of Esther says Haman is in Mesopotamia. Now in the 19th century, when we decipher the hieroglyphics, we find that Pharaoh also had Haman, chief builder. How did Muhammad know that in 1438 years ago? How did he know that? When in the 19th century, we deciphered the hieroglyphics.
It's a good question.
Right. So this is some of the questions you need to ask.
So then but that's what I'm saying. So what do we think about Esther?
He went.
Do we think it's wrong?
Well, that could be another Haman.
This could be another. So this could also be another Haman.
But the critic is, look at the question. It's not how many Hamans were there in the world. Nobody asked that question. The question they asked, why would you say there was Haman with Pharaoh? There was no Haman there.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah. But the hieroglyphics proved there was Haman there. So when Muhammad said it, this is what people said. Look, he's making up stories. There's no Haman.
Yeah. Okay.
So how would you know that?
Well, then I just don't understand the view then of Islam and other religions.
Huh?
Of the so, like in one hand, you're saying it acknowledges all the prophets and all of them.
Of course.
At the same time, it's saying, but they got a bit stuff wrong. Is it like the third truth?
No, hold on. Now you're making. Look, you need to distinguish between what.
Okay,
yeah.
fine. I'll tell you what. Are you here, what other days are you here every night?
I'll try and come on Friday, hopefully. Yeah.
Okay, we'll see.
Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sundays.
Well, remember
You're here on Sunday? Yeah.
Yeah, well, not every, but we're
Okay.
definitely here.
what you're reading about the prophets is by writers that wrote thousands of years later in the Bible.
All the messengers brought only one message. All the messages.
Even
they
Jesus.
brought only one message.
Even
Same
Moses.
as
What
it.
message
They
did
don't-
Jesus
message-
bring?
Right. Moses, look it up. In Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4, it says, Hear, O Israel, because they were only sent to the Israelites. Yeah? Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And then in New Testament, Mark 12:29, Jesus says what? Hear, O Israel, because he was sent just to the Jews. He's saying the same thing. The Lord our God, the Lord is one.
But
Is
so
that
does
same
Islam
message?
agree with like the same as what's it called,
Muhammad
the
said,
Jewish law?
Ilahuna ilahun wahid, which means
same
our
as
God,
the Jews.
our God is one God. Yes.
Jehovah, yes.
Why do you think we believe in all the prophets?
Because the same God that
Why
sent
do they
them.
think believe?
Yeah.
But then why between like for example Judaism and Christianity there again like why is there no unity amongst it? Why do they not agree
That's a
with
good
the same
question.
things?
The Jews.
The message got distorted.
That's fine. Okay, next time.
If you're here on
you guys,
Sunday, I'd love
yeah.
to keep the
No
conversation.
problem.
Thanks.
Good. See you later.
Actually, Haman was the chief builder of tall buildings.
Yeah.
Yes. Very hard to communicate. You know the knowledge, but when they ask, the question seems like
No, but the thing is,